Hello users, and welcome back to another episode of Above It All. And so there's going to be some people that click on this video, I am sure of it, that also like Rising, which is a show that Krystal and Saagar Enjeti do. Now, I do not like that show. I can appreciate it. You know, I think it's useful in specific ways, but I do not like that show and I do not watch that show because it does not suit my politics. I am not a social democrat. I'm an anarchist communist, and so Krystal Ball is not that appealing to me. Like, I liked her cable appearances during the primary, but that's about it. I don't really like her commentary all that much. I think it doesn't go far enough. And then also, Saagar Enjeti is a fucking fascist, and he's a Trump-obsessed, Tucker Carlson-obsessed loser. And if you watch Rising on a regular basis, and you do not understand that Saagar is a fascist and is pushing fascist politics, then that's a real problem. And so there's this brewing controversy that I'm going to put myself in on. I'm going to make a video about it. And I'm going to get myself into the fray. And just again, I just want this to be understood. I don't think anybody deserves to be canceled. It's really about a power, like, of what you spend your time on. Like, time being a zero-sum game. Like, for example, I would rather watch a show that is hosted by anarchist trans women than a fucking rich social democrat and a fascist. That's just, like, if I'm going to have, like, 2 hours of, I'm going to watch political news commentary on YouTube, like, I would just prefer to watch something that doesn't have a fascist on it. And that's my opinion. Now, again, if you want to tune into Rising for, like, the, you know, oh, I wonder what they're saying. Let me, you know, get, you know, what are the, you know, like, it, you know, if you want to do that, that's fine. But, like, anybody who's vehemently, and I'm seeing a lot of intra-left discourse of people getting upset that people don't like Saagar. Saagar is fucking garbage, dude. Like, seriously. Seriously, like, I've seen clips of this guy saying that the police responses are good and that police violence isn't that big of a problem and that, you know, like, he buys into these absurd, like, look at this tweet. I just looked at his timeline. It didn't take that much scrolling down, and I see this absurd Tucker's monologue last night makes the key point that defund the police is not about removing actual law enforcement. It's about replacing it with a bureaucratic diversity state like we see in every corporate, like, this guy is a fucking fascist. Like, he agrees with fascists, he promotes fascists, and his politics steer toward fascism. There is no such thing as right-wing populism. That is fascism. Like, if you want to make your rise to power based on throwing a minority under the bus, like gay people or trans people, then that is fascism. Like, it's not maybe full state total control, like that kind, like, you know, it's not like the goal, like the end result itself. Like, an act is not necessarily the end result for it to be on a highway to that situation. Like, and that's my problem with this show is, and I know there's a lot of people that follow me that like Rising, and that's why I'm trying to be nice and I'm trying to characterize it well. Krystal Ball made this response video to it. I've got it on 1.5x. I'm going to punch it up to like 2x. If you want to watch this video on your own time and then come back here, you know, feel free. But Krystal Ball addresses Nathan Robinson's piece here. And again, obviously I don't agree with Nathan on everything. I think, you know, relatively speaking, he's on point on a lot of things. But, you know, from what I see, he's also kind of makes things too big of a deal sometimes. But I do agree with him entirely here. Just literally 100%. Like, you have to keep in mind the Hill is owned by rich people. It's owned by Trump's buddies. You have to understand that Saagar is Trump's buddy. You have to understand that Krystal Ball isn't even that far left. Like she's not a left-wing populist. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that, but let's see what Krystal Ball has to say in response to this. Bracing for impact, this might be a little bit of a long video. I don't know.
All right, Krystal, what's on your radar? Well, friends, Nathan Robinson of Current Affairs has come for us a full 3 months after.
All right, let me go 1.75.
our book came out, he decided to write a review arguing that Saagar and his views are beyond the pale, and I am complicit in enabling him. Now, honestly, I always wonder how to respond to these things. Do you just ignore it? Do you send out a snippy tweet, which I did, and move?
And here's the thing: it's like I don't like this whole like, oh, how do you respond to these things? Like it's not like, you know, your coworker is like a left winger who accidentally said like, you know, a racial slur, you know, and then, you know, it's not like that situation. Saagar actively promotes the police state. He actively promotes Donald Trump's fucking agenda of concentration camps. And that's the thing, is like, that is beyond the pale. If you support Donald Trump in the year 2020, you are a disgusting psychopath. There is no, oh, I'm an intelligent and civilized psychopath. Like, no. Like, that's, like, and the idea that she's so dismissive of it, that's the real problem here. And this will probably I probably won't get through this whole 13-minute video, but...
And I am complicit in enabling him. Now, honestly, I always wonder how to respond to these things. Do you just ignore it? Do you send out a snippy tweet, which I did, and move on? But I'm sure Nathan's critique is frankly one that is shared by others, so I do think that it is worth addressing. Now, technically, he frames this as a book review, but it obviously also applies to Rising, since the book is primarily a compilation of our 2020 Dem primary commentaries. So
now, again, like, it's okay to have conversations with people you disagree with. If you want to say Saagar is a cool guy, and, you know, like, you just want to go out to a bar and have a drink with him, I think that's really cringy. I think it's kind of disgusting. As a trans person, I would never be able to do that. I can't be in a situation where I'm having a drink with and enjoying conversation with someone who wants to implement policy that kills me. Like, and that's the thing that you have to understand is Krystal Ball is a wealthy white woman. She does not, as far as I understand, is not gay. She doesn't have any of these, like, drawbacks. Like, Republicans at this point fully embrace that women should have equal rights for the most part. That's, like, the one thing that they like. So it's like, the idea that she thinks, oh, Saagar's not that bad. And that's what's offensive to me. And that's what I just extremely much so dislike. Like, I don't necessarily mind if you want to have, like, someone who's a conservative on your show, and, like, and I get, again, the show is, like, it has a net positive that I can appreciate. And again, I'm not trying to say, like, don't watch Rising. I would appreciate it if you watch my show over Rising. But, you know, we also cover different topics and different... Like, if you want to watch it, that's fine. But it's like, this is not content for me. As a leftist, this is not content. Rising, as far as I understand, Rising is for people that are new to politics. It's for... And it, you know, it can lead them in a good direction. But I also know that it leads people in a fascist direction. I know that from Nathan's... tweets, there's a lot of people that are yelling at him saying, oh, you're the problem with the left. And it's like, the problem with the left is a left that brings in liberals and fascists. That's the problem with the left, okay? And it's just like this snub dismissal of like, oh yeah, you know, he supports Donald Trump and supports Donald Trump's fascist agenda, but, you know, we go out for steak dinner once every, you know, 2 weeks, so it's like, that's okay. We do a show together, so it's alright. I just like, again, it can be a net positive. That doesn't mean I need to watch the show. That doesn't mean I need... And another thing is, I want to be explicitly clear. You can like something and then not jump to rabid defense. Like, for example, I think Rising is a net positive. I think it brings more people to the fray that otherwise wouldn't be here than that, I guess I've already completed my thought. But I think it brings more people to the left than more people to the right. I think it is overall a net positive. But that doesn't mean if someone like Nathan Robinson says that Saagar is a fascist, I'm going to jump into the Twitter and go like, Rising is a net positive show, how dare you? It's just for the greater good that you don't even talk about Saagar and his fascist views. And like, there are people out there that get so offended at the idea that Saagar is a fascist that they go in and like they have this weird absurd defense squad, and it's like, dude, chill the fuck out. And I know that this video is 10 minutes in, and I'm probably just going to not get to the point where... But I'm just going to let Krystal Ball try to explain herself, and, yeah.
Here's the crux of the argument that Nathan makes here. He starts by listing all kinds of terrible people who he lumps all into the category of right-wing populism. Bolsonaro, Orban, Trump, and then the obligatory Hitler and Mussolini. Thus, having equated fake populists like Trump and outright genocidal fascists like Hitler with right-wing populism, he has a groundwork all laid to come to this ultimate conclusion that the left should have absolutely nothing to do with anyone who calls themselves a right populist, as of course Saagar does. So this, again, calling it a mistake to mention the through line of fascism. Yes, are Trump and Hitler not the same thing? Of course they're not the same thing, right? But, like,
also Hitler was in power for a long time. Like, he had power for a long time. Trump's only had power for 3 years. 3.5 now? And that's something you have to fucking understand. Like, Trump is not a fake populist. He is someone that weaponizes the white anger in this country. That is right-wing populism. Like, you can make the argument that, like, you know, having a universal healthcare system is also populist and could advance a fascist agenda, and that's true. Like, there's a lot of European countries that have a fascist leader, but they also have a universal healthcare system, and they're, you know, it makes fascism more, you know, mainstreamable. And yes, that is something, like, that is true. Like, Saagar may support universal healthcare, but also support President Trump. But it's like one of those things where it's like, that doesn't, like, just because it's like, yeah, you think 80-year-olds should have fucking healthcare rights, and then also 18-year-olds should have healthcare rights, that doesn't automatically mean that Trump's agenda is okay. That doesn't mean that, like, you know, we should have brown people or Latinx people in concentration camps at the border. And if you vote for Donald Trump, you are voting for that. Especially when Joe Biden is such a fucking regular, milquetoast, neoliberal, conservative loser. Like, if you vote for Trump over Biden, then that is a clear endorsement of fascism. And I don't know if Saagar has said that he's going to vote for Trump 100%. I know he loves Trump. I know he loves Tucker Carlson. I know he's friends with a lot of Fox News people, and that's worrisome. And therefore, as a result, I cannot recommend this show to anybody that would even be remotely susceptible to that. Because I know that if they are remotely susceptible to that, they might get fucking duped. And I don't want to be involved with the duping. And the idea that Crystal Ball is just going to pretend like there is no duping, and just going to pretend like, oh, we're just having civil debate. Civil debate can be useful. And like I said, I think Rising is a net positive. But that doesn't mean you can't acknowledge the fact that the person you're debating has a lot of views that someone like me would not even feel comfortable being in the same room as them. And that is the idea of an intersectional, empowered, like, solidarity-driven left, is that we don't accept neoliberalism telling us that, you know, oh, let's compromise. Instead of having 45,000 people die from lack of health insurance, we'll have 20,000. Yeah, that's better. And yes, I would, you know, fight for that if that was the only option. But, like, I'm not going to have liberals down-talk me and say to compromise before the fight even begins. And then I'm sure, like, if you, okay, and this is my thing. If you hate liberals more than you hate a fascist like Saagar, that's fucking worrisome. Like, again, I would rather have Joe Biden as president than Donald Trump as president, because under Donald Trump's second term, his first term is already rewriting my rights in this fucking country. But under a second term, I could potentially be killed or thrown in prison for my beliefs, and that's horrifying. And someone like Krystal doesn't need to worry about that. And I guess I'm not even actually going to get to the video, but whatever. I just wanted to touch in on this topic. For anybody that watches me, that watches Rising, if you watch this video and you want to, like, if you want to ask me to address something more specific, I will. But this is 13 minutes. My video is 13 minutes already. I'm not going to get through this. I just wanted to get my piece out there. And I'll draw one more comparison. I appreciate the Young Turks. I think they are also a net positive. Does that mean when Cenk is running his campaign that I'm going to go on Twitter threads and say Cenk is the best person ever, you got to vote for him because he's a net positive, and he's, yeah, sure, he's, you know, he said a lot of really bad stuff, and he's, you know, but you got to do it. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste my fucking time defending someone I don't agree with on everything because I think they're a net positive for a district I don't even live in. And the same way, I'm not going to fucking spend all my time defending a fascist on a fucking competing fucking YouTube show. Yeah, that's right, we're competing. Like, you should be watching my show instead of this fucking rich people show, funded by rich people and hosted by a fascist and a fucking social democrat. Like, dude, social democracy, that adventure failed. Bernie Sanders failed. We gotta try something else. I think anarchism is the way to go. Stop fucking compromising before we even start having the conversation. And definitely stop defending fascists. Stop doing that. It's fucking garbage. And if you want me to address something more specific, I will. I'm a very interactive person. I tried my best. And if you want to, like, link me a specific part of this video, or link me something that Saagar says that you want me to address more clearly, maybe I should just make more videos calling out people like Saagar or other, like, you know, oh, I'm connected to left-wing populism, therefore everything I say is okay, and I can get that blank check or whatever. And it's like, no. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. And yeah, I don't, that's not what I'm here. If I'm going to have a platform, I don't want to use my platform to enable fascism. I'm sorry. But that's, and if Crystal Ball wants to enable fascism on her platform for the greater good, I mean, hey, she's a rich white woman, so no skin off her back. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, whatever, let me know. Go check out some of my other videos. And, yeah, I'll see you later.